The gleaming headquarters of Chen Fashion House stood like a crystal monument in downtown Los Angeles, its windows reflecting the California sun. I walked through the glass doors one last time, knowing that in less than an hour, everything I'd built would be taken from me, or so my sister thought. I'm Sarah Chin, founder and, until approximately noon today, CEO of Chen Fashion House, the brand that revolutionized sustainable luxury fashion. Our eco-friendly materials and innovative designs had caught the attention of LVMH, leading to acquisition talks that would make us a global powerhouse. At least that was the plan until my sister Michelle decided she deserved to be more than just creative director. Morning, Sarah. Lisa from marketing called out cheerfully. Big board meeting today? If she only knew. You could say that. The elevator ride to the executive floor felt surreal. In my designer tote, ironically, one of our best sellers, I carried proof of Michelle's calculated betrayal. Secret meetings with board members, backdated voting rights transfers, carefully orchestrated power plays. Classic corporate takeover tactics executed by my own sister. What she didn't know was that I had been 3 steps ahead of her from the start, ever since I caught her showing our confidential designs to LVMH executives 2 years ago. The boardroom was already full when I arrived. Michelle sat in her creative director chair, perfectly styled in our latest collection, iPad Pro ready for notes. Our other board members, 2 venture capitalists from Fashion Forward Fund, our angel investor James Wong, and our CFO Michael Torres, all avoided my eyes. Sarah, Michelle nodded coolly. Let's begin, shall we? I took my seat at the head of the table, noting how everyone subtly shifted toward Michelle's side. They'd made their choice. Before we start, I said calmly, I'd like to address what's really happening here, specifically the planned vote to remove me as CEO. The room froze. Michelle's practiced smile didn't waver, but her perfectly manicured hands tightened around her iPad. I have copies of all the communications, I continued, the secret meetings at Soho House, the voting rights transfers, even a drafted press release announcing my decision to step down to focus on personal projects. Sarah, Michelle started, her voice smooth as silk. You're obviously stressed about the LVMH acquisition. Maybe you should take some time to recharge. I finished for her. Like you suggested to the board I needed, right before proposing yourself as interim CEO. Michael at least had the grace to look uncomfortable. The venture capitalists maintained their practiced neutral expressions. The fact is, Michelle said, standing now, the board has concerns about your leadership. The LVMH deal requires steady hands. Your recent behavior suggests you might not be the right person to guide us through this crucial transition. Translation: I'd refused to accept LVMH's initial offer, knowing our brand and technology were worth far more. Michelle, eager for her moment in the spotlight, had been undermining me ever since. Let's be clear about what's really happening, I said, opening my laptop. You've spent 6 months convincing the board I'm unstable because I wouldn't take a lowball offer. You've manipulated voting rights to create a majority. And now you're planning to push me out and quickly close a deal that undervalues our company by at least $100 million. These accusations are ridiculous, Michelle snapped, but James Wong was already pulling out his phone, probably checking the documentation I'd mentioned. Shall we vote then? I asked quietly. The next 15 minutes were corporate theater at its finest. Michelle presented her carefully prepared case for my removal. Concerns about my erratic leadership, fears about losing the LVMH deal, veiled suggestions about my mental state. The board listened, nodded, and voted exactly as she orchestrated. The motion carries, Michelle announced, not quite hiding her triumph. Sarah Chen is hereby removed as CEO of Chen Fashion House. Effective immediately. I will assume the role of interim CEO to ensure a smooth transition and successful completion of the acquisition negotiations. I stood slowly, gathering my things. Congratulations, sister. Just one small detail you might want to consider. Security will escort you out, she said dismissively. Before they do, you should probably take a look at this. I projected an email onto the screen behind her. This just came in from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Michelle frowned, turning to read. I watched the perfect foundation on her face seem to crack. That's impossible, she whispered. Trademark registration number 88 to 742 391. I read aloud. Revolutionary eco-friendly fabric processing technology and sustainable luxury fashion designs. Sole owner, Sarah Chen Personal Holdings LC. Filed 2 years ago, all rights assigned to my personal company rather than Chen Fashion House. The venture capitalists were already on their phones, presumably calling their lawyers. James Wong was turning an interesting shade of pale. The sustainable fabric technology that makes our brand unique. I continued pleasantly. The eco-friendly processing that LVMH wants to buy. I developed it before bringing it to the company. Before I made you creative director, Chen Fashion House has been operating under a personal license from me, which, I checked my watch, expired approximately 2 minutes ago when you removed me as CEO. You can't do this, Michelle sputtered. The company owns all intellectual property. Developed while working for the company, yes, I agreed. But this technology predates Chen Fashion House. Check the timestamps. Check the documentation. Check anything you want. My lawyers already have. The security guards Michelle had called were waiting by the door, but no one was moving to escort me out. Everyone was too busy reading the trademark details now displayed on their screens. So here's the situation, I said, picking up my tote. You can have the company, Michelle. But without a license to my technology, what you have is an empty shell. No sustainable fabrics, no eco-friendly processing, no $200 million LVMH acquisition. Just a very nice office with a great view of Los Angeles. We'll challenge this, she threatened. The board will. The board, James Wong interrupted sharply, will need to reassess its position. Sarah, perhaps we should discuss this privately. I shook my head. No need. My resignation is effective immediately, as per the vote. I'll be starting a new company, one that owns rather valuable intellectual property. I hear LVMH is interested in sustainable luxury fashion. I walked to the door, then turned back. Oh, and Michelle, Mom expects us for dim sum on Sunday. Try not to be late this time. The security guards stepped aside, apparently unsure who they were supposed to be removing. As the elevator doors closed behind me, I heard the boardroom erupt into chaos. Lisa from marketing caught me in the lobby. Sarah, is everything okay upstairs? I smiled, thinking about the other insurance policy hidden in my home office. The one that would really turn the fashion world upside down. Everything's fine, I assured her, just some unexpected family business. But tomorrow? I grinned. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. The next 24 hours in the fashion world were chaos. Women's Wear Daily broke the story first. Chen Fashion House CEO ousted, major IP dispute threatens LVMH deal. Within hours, my phone was blowing up with calls from every fashion journalist, luxury brand, and competitor in the industry. I ignored them all, sitting in my Malibu home office, watching the story unfold exactly as I planned. The trademark was just the beginning. The real bombshell was still waiting to drop. Ms. Chen. My assistant's voice came through the intercom. Bernard Arnault from LVMH is on line 1. And your mother on line 2. I smiled. Right on schedule. Put Mom through first. Sarah Chen. Mom's voice crackled with familiar authority. What is this I'm reading about you and your sister? The entire Chinese community is talking. Michelle tried to steal my company, Mom. And you embarrassed her in front of the entire board? In front of important investors? Have you forgotten everything about family harmony? I glanced at the folder on my desk, printouts of Michelle's secret emails plotting my removal, dating back almost a year. Sometimes harmony has to be earned, Mom. Is Michelle there with you? A pause. She's been in her old room since this morning. Won't stop crying. Good. Tell her to stay there. She'll want to see the news in about an hour. Sarah, trust me, Mom, and maybe start preparing some of your special wonton soup. We're going to have company for dinner. I hung up and switched to line 1. Bernard, I was wondering when you'd call. Bernard Arnault, CEO of LVMH, didn't waste time on pleasantries. That's quite a technology portfolio you've been sitting on, Sarah. Want to explain why we're just learning about it now? Because until today, there was no reason to mention it. Chen Fashion House had a perpetual license to use the technology as long as I remained CEO. Now? I shrugged, though he couldn't see it. Now things are more complicated. The acquisition deal is dead, I finished, at least in its current form. But I'm happy to discuss a new deal, one that reflects the true value of the technology. There was a long pause. The original offer was fair. The original offer was $200 million for technology that will revolutionize sustainable luxury fashion. Technology that, as of this morning, legally belongs to me personally, not Chen Fashion House. Would you like to know what Kering offered 20 minutes ago? Another pause. When can you be in Paris? I can't. Family dinner tonight. But you're welcome to join us in Los Angeles. My mother makes excellent wonton soup. To his credit, Renard caught on quickly. Text me the address. I'll bring the wine. The next call was to Lisa from marketing, who had already received offers from 3 luxury brands. How would you like to be head of global marketing at a new company? One with actual ownership of its core technology. When do I start? By noon, I'd secured commitments from most of Chen Fashion House's key designers and technical team. By 2, I had verbal offers from 5 major luxury conglomerates. But the real show was set for 3 o'clock, when the second part of my insurance policy would become public. Right on schedule, Vogue broke the story. Chen Fashion House's eco-friendly claims in question. Anonymous source reveals documentation. I watched from my home office as Chen Fashion House's stock price started to plummet. The anonymous source, actually my carefully documented research files, showed that while my sustainable fabric technology was genuine, Michelle had been cutting corners on production using non-eco-friendly processes while marketing them as green. The phone rang again. Michelle. You knew, she said without preamble. You knew about the production changes all along. Of course I knew. I'm the one who warned you about sustainability certification 6 months ago, right before you started plotting to remove me. The company is tanking. The LVMH deal is dead. Are you happy now? Actually, Mr. Arnault is coming to Mom's for dinner. We're going to discuss a new deal, one that involves my new company, which owns both the technology and proper sustainability certifications. Silence. You should come too, I added. Mom's making wonton soup. Why? Her voice cracked. Why not just destroy me completely? Because you're still my sister, and because Mom would never forgive me. 7 o'clock, don't be late. The scene at our parents' house that evening was surreal. Mom's dining room table, where we'd eaten Sunday dinners our entire lives, now hosted the CEO of LVMH, 3 prominent fashion executives, and our family's old friend Uncle Jean, who'd helped me file the original patents 2 years ago. Michelle arrived last for perfect makeup, unable to hide the evidence of tears. Mom, bless her, acted like having fashion industry billionaires at her table was completely normal. Eat, she insisted, serving more soup. Business can wait until after dinner. Over wontons and wine, the new deal took shape. My new company would acquire Chen Fashion House in a stock swap, with LVMH then acquiring the combined entity for $500 million. Michelle would keep her shares but step down from any management role. Most importantly, the Chen sisters would remain sisters. I still don't understand, Michelle said later as we sat in the garden like we used to as kids. You knew what I was planning. You could have stopped it earlier, exposed the sustainability issues, ruined me. Why wait? I sipped the vintage wine Bernard had brought. Because I needed you to show everyone who you really are. And who I really am. And who's that? You have a sister who'd betray family for fame. I'm the one who'd find a way to save both the company and the family. She winced. Mom's never going to let me forget this. No, I agreed. But she's also never going to let me forget that family comes first, even when family betrays you. The new company, she said quietly, there's really no place for me? Not in management, but your shares are still worth about $50 million. Not bad for someone who tried to steal her sister's company. Mom came out with more wontons, insisting the CEO of the world's largest luxury conglomerate needed feeding. I watched her fuss over everyone equally, the daughter who tried to commit corporate fratricide and the daughter who'd outmaneuvered her, the billionaires and the family members, all getting the same maternal treatment. The next few weeks were a blur of lawyers, contracts, and press releases. The media loved the story. Fashion Sisters' battle ends in $500 million peace deal. The new company, Phoenix Sustainable Luxury, launched with a dream team of designers and a clear mission. LVMH fast-tracked the acquisition. Kering made a competing offer. and the final price settled at $600 million. Michelle took a long sabbatical, then started a sustainable fashion consultancy focusing on ethical production. She still comes to Sunday dinner, though she's quieter now, more thoughtful. Mom makes sure we sit next to each other. Yesterday, at the signing ceremony for the LVMH acquisition, a reporter asked if I was worried about other family betrayals. In fashion, like in family, I replied, the best designs aren't just about appearance. They're about the integrity of what's beneath the surface. The night after the deal closed, I found an old photo in Mom's album. Michelle and me at my first fashion show, proudly showing off dresses we designed together. Next to it, she placed a framed copy of the acquisition announcement. To remind you both, she said firmly, that success means nothing without family. She was right, of course. The trademark, the sustainability revelation, the negotiations. They were all just leverage. The real victory wasn't in the millions or the headlines. It was in finding a way to save both the company and the family. Michelle and I still argue about design aesthetics at Sunday dinner. Mom still makes too many wontons. Dad still says we work too hard. But now there's a new understanding between us all. Success isn't just about winning, it's about how you win. The fashion world moves fast. Trends come and go, but family endures. Sometimes it takes a betrayal to remind us of that truth, and sometimes it takes a sister's forgiveness to show us how to move forward. Today, Phoenix Sustainable Luxury is revolutionizing the fashion industry. Our technology is changing how luxury goods are made, and the Chen sisters are still having Sunday dinner at Mom's table. Different seats maybe, different perspectives certainly, but still family. As for me, I keep the original patents framed in my office next to that old fashion show photo, a reminder that in business, as in family, the best victories are the ones that leave room for redemption.